Please, I would like to welcome the panel to the stage and also the moderator of this session, Kevin Roberts, who is the editorial director of Sports Business Group. Kevin, over to you.
Ali, thank you very much indeed. There we are. If our panelists would like to take a seat. Good morning, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Now, it's great to be back here in Dubai for the second of these conferences. And just looking back at the opening remarks, it seems to those of us who visit 3 or 4 times a year, please take a seat, it's remarkable that it's only 42 years since the foundation of this state. So much has been achieved. The UAE has been on a spectacular and absolutely spectacular journey. And our first panel this morning is going to talk in its own way about a journey. I think it's all pretty well accepted, you know, that there's never been a greater awareness internationally of the value of the business of events, whether they are major sports events or whether, like Expo, they're commercial and cultural events. The role that events play not simply in generating commerce, but in building the brand and the image of nations, and in many cases introducing nations to the world for the first time, is very difficult to overestimate. But it really is a journey, and it's not the sort of journey that you can program a sat-nav for. This is a journey where the road is not simply wide, long, twisting. It's also a road which is ever-changing. It's a road which is sometimes dangerous, where there's often a need for assistance to get to the end of the journey. Now, I'm delighted to be joined today and to welcome a panel of individuals, each of whom has been responsible for all or part of that journey relating to some of the world's greatest sports events. We have for you speaking to share their knowledge with you today Yasuhiro Nakamura, International Relations Director for the Tokyo 2012 bid, who's probably only just now stopped partying after the success of their bid at the IOC sessions in Buenos Aires early this year. He's joined by Dame Tessa Jowell, who's the former Olympics minister and saw the London in the UK and saw the London 2012 project through from beginning to end, despite a change of government halfway through, which is a remarkable achievement for those of you who understand the nature of politics in the UK. With a uniquely local perspective, we are honoured to be joined by Her Excellency Shaima Al-Zarouni, who does many, many things and holds a range of key positions in institutes and organizations here in the UAE. She'll be drawing this morning on her role as a senior executive committee member of the UAE National Olympic Committee. Also on our panel, Mr. Moon Dong-hoo, who's vice president of the Pyeongchang Organizing Committee for the 2018 Winter Olympic Games. But don't be fooled. This is a man who's been at the heart of Korea's sporting endeavors for many, many years now, and his frame of reference goes back to the co-hosting of the 2002 FIFA World Cup and beyond. And we very much look forward to hearing his insight on not only the organizational challenges, but the value of major events to his country. And finally, last but not least, we have an Olympian on our panel. Jim Scher is CEO of the Baku 2015 European Games, a completely new venture to take place in a city which is fast making its mark on the world of sport. And Jim has insights which come to him both as an athlete, as a key administrator in a senior role at the US Olympic Committee, and now as a man who's taken on the challenge of delivering a new super international project and moving not just himself, but his family to one of the world's fastest emerging cities. Can I just go back very briefly to my point about the journey, about the fact that you can't just program a sat-nav which will take you from the beginning to the end, and as long as you make one or two right turns, you'll get there. Because fundamentally, the map itself changes during the course of that journey. And I think we only have to look back to happenings in Brazil during this summer to really appreciate some of the issues which organizers and planners and the politicians behind major international events have to consider. We in this room may take a particular view, and I guess generally a positive view, of the value of major sports events, but it would appear that it's not necessarily a view which is held by all of the population of Brazil who took to the streets to protest that money was being spent not on schools, not on transport, not on education, but on showcase stadia for the FIFA World Cup, for an organization coming into a country, making a profit and leaving very little behind in terms of financial contribution. I mention it not in any way to criticize FIFA or the way things are done, but there would appear to be that our discussions over the next few days must in part at least be against the backdrop of a raising of consciousness and awareness, not only among those of us who may consider ourselves to be specialists of one sort or another sat in this room, but among the people who, in many countries in the world, pay taxes to fund these events. Those shifts in public opinion have to be, must be recognized, because they will influence the market globally for future event hosting. And finally, for me, I was in Turkmenistan last week, Ashgabat. Turkmenistan is the sort of place which, rather like Sochi in Russia, before it won the right to host the coming Winter Olympic Games, very few people of my acquaintance could actually point to on a map. That, I believe, is about to change. Turkmenistan has invested $5.5 billion to create an Olympic complex, which is, in scale at least, the equal of that at Stratford Olympic Park, which so successfully held the London 2012 Games. They're the latest players on the block, and there will be more to follow. It's a changing map. It's simply not the old order. The order continues to change. Turkmenistan next. Who after that? The newcomers to this world must also be considered over the next couple of days. Now, the format for the next 55 minutes or so is that I'm going to invite each of our speakers to make a few opening remarks, and then we will enter into a discussion. I'll ask some questions myself, but critically, we will be sure to leave enough time to allow you to voice your comments and ask specific questions of a group of people who I would say are about to provide, at the offset, one of the highlights of the next couple of days, and whose combined expertise is about as good as you're going to get anywhere in the world. I'm going to go and sit down right at the end there, but as I'm doing that, Yasuhiro, it's only a couple of months since the envelope was opened and Tokyo was announced as the winner of the right to host the Olympic Games. Before you get on to your notes, after one failed bid and after giving so much to the second, just try and share a little with an audience who is celebrating the win for Expo. How did that feel to you?
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin.
Please go.
Yes, first of all, I would like to say congratulations on the appointment of the 2020 Expo, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, the same year of the 2020 of the Tokyo Olympic Games. We would like to cooperate each other toward the 2020. Thank you very much. Things are moving very quickly in Tokyo after appointment as a host city on September 7th. Minister in charge of Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games has been appointed several days after the host city elections. On October 4th, the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Game Promotion Office was established in the Cabinet Secretariat to support the minister. Japanese Olympic Committee launched the Tokyo 2020 project team in September, and I was appointed as a director. Furthermore, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government also established a cross-sectional function across all bureaus to implement all necessary measures for the preparation. Japanese Olympic Committee and City of Tokyo and national government, we all worked very closely together and already started to prepare for the Games. Last month, a two-day IOC Tokyo 2020 orientation seminar took place in Tokyo, and November 20th, we had the honor to welcome to the IOC President, Dr. Thomas Bach, in Tokyo, and joined by the Coordination Commission Chairman, Dr. John Coates. Since the beginning of the bidding phase, Tokyo has contributed to demonstrate the commitment to host the Super Games and its desire to reinforce the Olympic values for the next generation in these fast-changing times for sport. The Olympic and Paralympic family will benefit from our three more strengths. First, the city being the safe pair of hands and much more. This is called a delivery. And second, people who are passionate about the game, and it will become an incredible city center party we call celebration. And third, Japan's creativity, technology, and youth culture benefit sport widely. This is called innovation. When speaking of our vision of the Games, please allow me to also touch on the power of sport, which we have reconfirmed by our ongoing experiences from the March 2011's earthquake and tsunami recovery efforts. Many athletes have been visiting these affected areas in the last 2.5 years. The Japanese Olympic Committee and all the national sports federations has been carrying out projects in support for the recovery. We witnessed a moment where children begin the experience and smile once again through the interaction with the athlete. And this allows us to realize the power and value of sport and the significant role athletes can play in society. Tokyo 2020 is keen to Tokyo 2020 is keen to convey this power of sport we have reconfirmed to the world. By doing so, we are determined to promote the Olympic movement by raising the profile of athletes and helping secure the place sports and Olympics in these challenging and fast-changing time for sports. We understand that our immediate task is to establish the organizing committee, which will be done by February 24th, before the Sochi Olympic Games. 3 months have already passed since Buenos Aires, such IOC session, and we now have only 6 years and 7 months left. Exactly say 2,424 days only. We will keep working hard to ensure we provide the best possible stage for the athlete in 2020 based on our idea of 2020 Athlete First Games. And on this occasion, and we would like to have your advice, all of you, how to make a good organizing committee, and also I would like to get your great advice how to make a great concept and vision toward 2020 and also beyond the 2020 concerning the legacy. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Yes, I hear it. It's great. It is always that being able to look beyond, which is which is so important. But in introduction, I referred to your success at the summit, at the sessions in Buenos Aires. It was, of course, the second consecutive bid. What would your advice be for those who you were successful against in Buenos Aires? Would you advise them that, you know, come back with the passion that you talked about and have another go at this?
Thank you very much. And compared to the last bid of 2016, we have experienced through the 2016 bidding activity. And the first, the importance is how to communicate with the IOC members and how to get a passion for the 2020 game. And also how to make a good team for the bidding for the 2020, including the government and cities and sports world people to cooperate each other toward the 2020. And I was working a very long time for the 27 years experience for the Japanese Olympic Committee job. So now I would like to concentrate on especially for the beyond the 2020 is very crucial for us.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, Dame Tessa Jal, the constitution of the organising committee was critical to the success of London. Wasn't quite right at the very beginning, but it evolved. There was a change at the top at the very outset. But there was a remarkable consistency from the bid through to actual delivery. Perhaps you could just use some of your 5 minutes to pass on a little bit of advice to Yasuhiro here about the lessons that come from London. That's what we're here for, share best practice and knowledge.
Well, I think, first of all, congratulations, Dubai. Fantastic achievement, and congratulations, Tokyo. And I think the first point I'd make is that I think all of us who've been privileged to play a part in hosting major events owe it to each other to share the essence of success and what we did that we regretted and could have done better. So I think there's a great sense of solidarity between countries and between cities, and this conference, and I congratulate the organisers, is a measure of that. Let me run quickly through the journey from bid through to legacy. Why bid? The first thing is to be very clear about what you want to achieve beyond the days of the event itself. And certainly, in our case, if you're going to invest £9.3 billion of public money, you do it in part to host the greatest sporting event in the world, but you actually do it for more than 60 fabulous days of Olympic and Paralympic sport. And remember, in answer to your question, that bidding itself has a legacy, so define what the legacy is. Next point, define success in your own terms. And if you don't do that, the media will do it for you. Our bidding purpose was twofold. First of all, to regenerate part of the City of London, East London, the most deprived, and if you travel from Westminster, where our Parliament is, to the heart of East London, it is said that life expectancy falls by 1 year for every tube stop on the way. So to tackle deprivation and to create a new part of London, purpose one. Purpose two, to transform a generation of young people through sport, not just in the UK, and Debbie Lai, who was one of the driving forces behind our International Inspiration Programme, is here, but also to extend those benefits of London 2012 around the world. So there will be hard reasons, new for bidding and creating legacy, new venues, new infrastructure. There will also be soft reasons, like increasing the level of skill, literacy, numeracy, health of a very poor part of our population in the UK. Next, imprint good values throughout the whole process and let your story be told through those good values. Take risks in innovation and the imagination that you attach to your bid. Instead of parading our corporate sponsors when we went to Singapore to present to the International Olympic Committee, we took 22 young people from East London who were the face of our glorious, tolerant, open and diverse city. 20 nationalities speaking 22 different languages. And I think the final point about bidding is be clear how your bid will enhance the reputation of the sponsoring committee. And when you win, everyone in your country will remember where they were when the news was announced. I can remember a few minutes after standing in front of a battery of camera lights going off. David Beckham had his arms around me. We were having our photograph taken together, and I thought, we haven't just won the Olympics, I've died and gone to heaven. Next, on delivery, that's when the hard job starts, and I woke up the next morning and thought, after all this excitement of bidding, now we've really got to do it. My advice there, from our experience, always under-promise and over-deliver. Sporting success is, of course, the whole point, and achieving, in our case, equivalence between the Olympics and the Paralympics. But crucial is maintaining public support. So maintain support across the whole country. We did that through making a big thing about letting contracts for the construction of the park in East London and then the staging of the games available to businesses right across the country. And of course, we bid at a time of economic growth. We were delivering at a time of economic downturn. So the Olympic injection was important for sustaining regional economies around the country. Next piece of advice, hire the best people in the world and let them get on with it. Try and keep your bureaucrats and your interfering government departments away from them. That was one of my jobs. Establish a clear narrative and include your own realistic milestones. So again, you define success. Establish clear accountability in what may be governance arrangements over which you don't have complete control, and negotiate a resilient budget with a very substantial contingency. So all the time you can trade time and cost. And just remember that delays are the enemy of budget discipline. The minute you start falling behind your schedule, the contractors will know, and they will then take you, as we say in the UK, to the cleaners. Build cross-party support. We did that to lift our Olympic Games above politics and say they belong to the people of our country. Finally, 30 seconds on legacy. Never an afterthought. Legacy has to be imprinted from the very moment you start bidding. And our legacy is judged by two objectives: the regeneration of East London and the transformation of a generation of young people through sport. There will again be hard legacy and soft legacy, and legacy in areas that you don't expect. In technology, in health and safety, disability sport, sustainability. Legacy requires patience. You will not deliver legacy the day after the closing ceremony. You will have had an unbelievable time. You stand back. The success belongs to the people of the country. Legacy is a decade's journey.
Tessa, thank you. Now, I assume that photograph of the Beckham embrace now has pride of place above your dining table at home, right?
Yes.
You talked about the importance of people. Now, one of the key things about the organisation of any major event, particularly any sporting event, is, as you said, expertise. Where do you see the balance? Because there aren't that many. The balance between sourcing that expertise domestically and overseas. There simply aren't that many people with experience of running an Olympic Games or a FIFA World Cup. How do you strike that balance?
Well, I mean, I think an event like this is an example. And I think that everybody who has been involved owes it to subsequent cities to share their experience. And I think that certainly in relation to the Olympics and the Paralympics, the IPC and the IOC are very keen on knowledge transfer. And indeed, one of the things that I did when Rio had been selected as the 2016 Olympic host was to enter into an exchange, a formal government-to-government exchange between our government, where I was the cabinet minister responsible, and the Brazilian government. And I think that there are many ways of ensuring knowledge transfer, but it is very important to be generous with your experience, for better or for worse.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, Her Excellency Shaima Al Zarouni is a senior member of the UAE National Olympic Committee. Shaima, I hope that this is a stimulating and interesting conversation to be part of, but I think it's important for our audience that we have a little perspective from our host nation, so the floor is yours.
Sure, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I'm pleased to be here on behalf of the UAE National Olympic Committee, and I would probably, as Dr. Ahmed Bilhoul apologized, I would apologize on behalf of all the citizens and residents of the UAE who were celebrating, because all of us, we have no voice. So I would probably, again, apologize on behalf of all. Probably into those 5 minutes that I'm allowed to speak as given, and I would probably speak about why to bid, but I would like to highlight that where I would speak about more of the 200 events that takes place in the UAE, Dubai. It's not only about the Olympics or the non-Olympics events that takes place or the sporting events. We have in the UAE over than 200 events that took place and takes place annually. But the question is why to bid, and why does the UAE bid to host such events or sporting events? First, as probably they did highlight, that we want to share know-how and probably share the existing strength that we have in our infrastructure, because there are very important elements that we think about for a successful event to take place. First, it's the infrastructure and the facilities available and the knowledge transfer, as we highlighted earlier. We wanted also to expose our local talents, because we are a very young country, but into the last 42 years, we actually managed to have amazing talents and amazing capacities available that was actually gained through the tolerance that we have and through probably the exposures of the local and expat living in the UAE. We wanted as well to create socioeconomic opportunities that would add to the UAE and probably further enhance the development. Build longer-term partnership and cooperation opportunities, and that's a very major point, because without our partners and without creating synergies and engagement between the public sector, the private sector, and the third sector, we would not be able to deliver those projects or those events. And their role is very important. And actually, this is different than the West, because most of the time, as Kevin highlighted, in the West, private sector would come into the picture because of the waivers on taxations, while it's not here, the same scenario. The private sector over here does those and participate into those projects and events because they feel that they're engaged and they feel that there is an important for them to actually have their CSR and recognition through being part of those events. And then, as we highlighted, knowledge transfer, being a very young country, we would definitely wanted to probably share our experiences with the rest of the world, but at the same time, we wanted actually to learn and gain from them. And when it comes to delivery, and that's the second point, and leaving the legacy behind, there are success factors that we would need to put into consideration when we actually host and bid for events. And the UAE and Dubai has those success factors, and that's why we managed to, we're very happy that Expo 2021 Dubai, not vice versa. And so, for example, accessible airlifts. We have the two national carriers, which are Emirates Airlines and Etihad. Emirates fly to over 122 destinations in 72 countries. We have Etihad flights, which was established in 2003, flies to 84 destinations in 55 countries. The UAE itself, it's located actually 8 hours away from 2/3 of the world population, and 4 hours from 1/3 of the world's population, and that's a very added value strength that we have over here. Numerous venue options, and that makes it very critical for us to host events. We have, when it comes to exhibition space, we have available around 172,000 square meters of exhibition space, and probably the Dubai World Trade Center Central Airport would have, again, bigger facilities coming up into the coming years to support the Expo 2020. We have 96,000 rooms in both hotels and hotel apartments in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, only those cities themselves, the dominant cities. And we actually attract the highest foreign tourist traffic. Our current hotel capacity exceeds New York and Paris, as per the latest statistics. We have a very strong infrastructure. We have 5 airports. We have 9 international harbors, and we have 300 international connected cities to the UAE by air. And therefore, it's accessible for all organizers, delegates, and event management company to actually have their cargo or personnel and delegates being here easily. The Zayed, and then when it comes to probably hosting sport events, we have the Zayed Sports City in Abu Dhabi, capacity to hold up to 43,000 spectators. Meydan as well, which is the largest integrated horse racing facility, capacity of 120,000 people, as well as the Dubai Sport Complex that actually can accommodate more than 10 types of Olympic standard sporting events. Experience industry support, again, international studies assessing capabilities to host international sporting events. Dubai was ranked higher than any other city in the Middle East, where we actually, as we said, we have over than 200 events that takes place in Dubai and the UAE. We are a very unique cosmopolitan experience, variety of attractions. Dubai and Abu Dhabi alone hosted over 11 million visitors in 2011, and that's impressive as well, which is over 169% increase over 2000. We have a very nice welcoming climate where it's a year-round sunshine, welcoming climates, of stability, safety, and security into the economy as well, and probably the country itself makes a significant factor. And then definitely the supporting and welcoming government authorities into every single event that we would have, or probably a host that we make. The country, the different government departments would be very supportive, and they'll take part into making this event a success. So the last thing I would probably highlight is we had the FIFA, the Under-17 FIFA World Cup, we had the FIFA Club World Cup, we had the 2010 FINA Sport Short Course World Championship, we had the FINA World Cup 2012 and 2013, Dubai Desert Classic. Probably I would not go through the details of the different events, sport events that we take, but I would leave probably the rest of the day to discuss by the different various panelists and probably my colleagues over here who would speak about the sporting events, and that's it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Now, I just wanted to ask, I mean, the list of events is long and fabulous. Can you, from your NOC perspective, can you see a direct line between those events and the willingness of the people of UAE to get involved in sport? Is it providing the sort of inspiration that London 2012 set out to provide? And second to that, and I'm afraid the answer will have to be fairly brief, but also, are these events changing viewing habits of sport? Are they encouraging members of the community here into the stadiums to watch these regional and world-class athletes in action?
Definitely they are, because if you think about it, it's like we had the School Olympics, for example. One of the projects that started was the School Olympics, and that were probably those events direct the youth and the young generation to actually be part of the Olympic movement. That's one of the things. And then the government is very much interested into hosting more events, and that's why we had the under-17 probably World Championship, which the FIFA thing, which was very recently happening. I think there is a mandate to where probably having sport activities happening, and probably 70 of the events that happened into 2013 across Dubai and Abu Dhabi only are sport activities, and there is a notion to go forward with further events, definitely.